gentle colts, behold! Mr. Code, I'm literally the only one here. Anyway, behold! MLP Generation 5! Okay, I see that. Is there something I'm missing here, or... Oh dear! Didn't see that coming, did you, Judge?
Oh, ow, dear sweet Celestia, help me!
Gentle colts, behold! More MLP Generation 5! I don't know. I mean, with what happened last time... Oh, don't worry. This time shall be different. Well, okay, if you say so, but I still don't understand why... Oh, not again! It's not different at all, is it, Judge?
Oh my goodness, why?
Objection! Hello, everypony. I'm MasterCode, your ace analyst, and today we'll be covering the first chapter of MLP Generation 5's Make Your Mark. And I have no idea what the goal of this special was, or even what it is. It's like if you took the 90-minute New Generation movie and then compressed the whole prejudice angle into a 44-minute special. It's a continuation of the movie that somehow loops back on itself. It takes one step forward and two steps back. What's funny is that the first issue of the new MLP Generation 5 comic series, which is a different type of visual medium and only 20 pages, actually does a better job at progressing the previous movie in terms of its characters, setting, and magic now that it's returned to Equestria, which I will review after this, but back to the topic at hoof. So with all that set up, let's take a look at the special actual. Every pony prepares for the Maritime Bay Festival. Hold it! So, one of the many things that really stood out to me is just how many storylines are in this special. You have the Maritime Bay Festival plot. You have Zipp's ordeal with rulership and being an investigator. Hitch taking care of an egg. The crystals and magic glitching. The continuing prejudice plotline. Sunny dealing with her alicorn powers. Did I miss anything? Do we need 6 plots in a single episode? All of these stories could have been their own individual episode, but the creators, for whatever reason, decided to pack it all into one 44-minute special. It's too much, and it doesn't allow any time for these individual stories to be properly fleshed out. But let's talk about this hodgepodge more in depth and dissect it part by part. As for the opening song, it is decent.
Every pony everywhere, you can feel it in the air. Find your spark and just glow and shine.
The music has a cheerful, upbeat sound, the lyrics are okay, and it's a short and sweet intro into the special.
Thank you, Princess Zipp.
Zip, just call me Zip, and don't worry about it.
The magic from the Unity crystals in the Bright House is new to all of us. It takes practice.
Awkward dialogue transition, much?
Oh, and thanks for the exposition dump. Although this does introduce the most interesting element of this special, which is magic unfamiliarity. Even with magic returning to Equestria, obviously no unicorn will be able to cast magic well, or Pegasi be able to fly with peak precision. We previously saw this in an episode of Tell Your Tale with Zipp training Pegasi how to fly. This shows the struggle that every pony is going through, and seeing how they deal with these difficulties is an interesting concept. But even then, the special screws it up, because other than the magic glitches actually affecting ponies, every pony seems to be handling their powers and flight quite well. So this interesting plot point becomes dull and uninteresting. Moving on.
We found the 3 Unity crystals and brought them back together. It brought us back together. And we have magic again! Eee!
Not even 2 minutes and another transparent exposition dump. Why? Do you think no one watched the previous movie, or do you think they would just skip it and watch this one first? Also, the timing doesn't make any sense, as the magic returning happened a couple months ago. Hey everybody, I just want to let you know that magic returned. You know, that thing I've been using for the past couple of months? But here's my first real point of contention that really bothered me and really stood out.
Oh, I love Maritime Bay Day! Hey, you gotta come check it out. The live maritime music, the sandcastle contest, the caramel pony corn. Ah, it's the best.
Oh no. Hitch, what did they do to you? He's completely different and adopted the same personality as in the Tell Your Tale series. He's just wrong. Let's compare and contrast with the movie, shall we?
I can't keep associating with some pony who breaks every rule and causes chaos wherever she goes. I'm the sheriff!
Cool. Just trying something out. Didn't work. Good feedback.
The law is the law, Sonny, and I'm here to uphold it and keep every pony safe.
Let's order fries from 3 different diners and then decide which ones are the best. Or maybe a puzzle.
The threat has been neutralized, the unicorn has been captured. You may now cheer.
Didn't you take
What? I didn't take anything at the beach.
down a report?
Oh, right, a report. Actually, that reminds me. Gotta go file that report.
One of these things is not like the other things. One of these things just doesn't belong.
We go from a steadfast yet cocky sheriff who took the law rather seriously to this.
So, what do you say? Which sheriffy thing should we do today in Maritime Bay? Hey.
Is magic allowed on the beach, Sheriff Hitch?
Oh, it's not allowed.
Objection! Hitch wasn't afraid of conflict. He took his role as sheriff to the utmost professionalism degree, sometimes a little too far, which provided his humor, but he would uphold the law to the nth degree, even to his best friend, even chasing her across the world. It's a stark contrast from his original character, but I guess that's just his personality we're running with now. Anyway, we now come to the main conflict of the special with Posey.
I wish magic had never come back. And I'm not the only pony around here who thinks so. You Pegasi are always flying too fast, or too low, or too high up. And every time I'm at the market, there's some smug unicorn using their magic to shop. I almost got hit in the head by a bag of floating apples yesterday.
Oh, bitch.
This does present an interesting story. Think about it. A nation divided with prejudice amongst different races of ponies that have special gifts? It's got a lot of potential. Gee, but doesn't that sound a little familiar? It's almost like that was the plot of the G5 movie. At least it elevates it somewhat by the fact that there are questionable traits with magic returning to the world. Unicorns who are untrained with magic could accidentally cause havoc or use their magic for malicious purposes. Yeah, we see ponies being rude to her, but it's not because of magic, it's because some unicorn jerk wasn't watching where they were going. But no, she just scapegoats the problem to magic rather than the jerks that still exist in the world. It's like organizing a campaign to destroy all bees because a random bee stung you once when you were young. Instead of retreading the previous movie with having characters hate each other because of race or some other aspect, how about seeing characters endure without any special gifts given to them, and see their struggles and triumphs as they attempt to do things that seemingly only Pegasi or unicorns could do? Something different, something interesting. Posey comes off as just a one-dimensional, shallow, jealous character. Also, normally I wouldn't comment on this, but the editing and scene continuity is really awful, and I noticed it quite a lot, but this scene in particular is the worst offender.
Then they should do it somewhere else other than my garden.
Bitch.
At the end of this clip, she's at the bottom of the stairs, and the next edit, she is now directly in front of her door. Or maybe Posey's secretly a teleporting unicorn. We see Sunny standing near the walkway, then in the next edit, she's suddenly out in the field, and after Posey closes the blinds, she's suddenly on the opposite side of the walkway near the mailbox.
Space is warped and time is bendable.
Was the editor not paying attention? How did they not catch these simple mistakes? And this happens numerous times throughout the movie, and it's just distracting. Oh great, someone put the floor upside down. So another thing I noticed about this special is that Zipp takes the reins as the main character. Apparently she's going to become an investigator in the series, which is good as pretty much she was mostly the sarcastic one in the group and now has been given a new role. She's the one observing these magical glitches, leading the charge to resolve the conflict, and she's really the only one with any real conflict at all. Oh sure, there's Sunny and her powers, but it doesn't come up as much, and neither does she for matter, whereas Zipp is under constant pressure from her mother about future rulership. It's a simple, admittedly overused storyline, but it is the most interesting story in this whole special, because it deals with the emotional stress of a character trying to find their place in the world with the pressures from parental figures. It's basic, but it's something the audience can connect with. Oh, and as for the rainbow glitch itself, it just looks bad.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission.
It just looks like a bad rendering error. Just have it fade in and out or something else. What happens next? Hopefully it's something much more wholesome.
At ease, deputies.
Whoa, dude, jeez. Stop showing your junk to your deputies. Can we get a sensor bar on him? Much better. Anyway, it's at this point the special just pulls the drag chute and it's just one superfluous scene after the other where nothing really happens for a while. Zipp is watching the crystals and not much happens. Every pony is decorating for the festival and not much happens. Hitch is watching over the egg and not much happens. And by the way, why keep the egg a secret as it doesn't hurt him to tell the others? Anyway, not much happens.
And not much happens, and not much happens, and not much happens, not much happens, and not much happens.
Another legit problem with this special is actually Sunny. More specifically about how dismissive she is about Zipp's pleas that there's a problem with the magic.
I've been monitoring the crystals, and I think something is wrong with them.
What? No, there isn't. Magic is not glitching. I think that's just because I'm still learning.
Objection! This was what their whole entire adventure was about previously, to find these crystals and bring unity to all the races. Wouldn't she care if something so important could possibly be damaged that could affect the magic? For her to be so passive about any issues with these crystals or magic seems to be very out of place for her. Yeah, her previous naivete about every pony living in a perfect world is idealistic, but now that magic's actually back, she should be worried 24/7 about losing all that magic again. You'd think she'd have a vested interest. Also, this scene slays me.
It's the crystal. They might be powered by ponies.
What? You don't say. You mean the 3 pony tribes coming together in your previous adventure, accepting one another, causing the crystals to release their power, and returning magic back to Equestria may have been caused by ponies? Wow, I never would have thought that.
I don't like karaoke. It's the worst. Ugh.
Ouch. And do you want to know something else? I've never liked your spinach puffs. Never.
That's it. She's going down.
We finally arrived to one of the most infamous changes made to the series.
It's the lantern my dad made for me. I thought it was beyond repair. Thank you so much, Izzy.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
Why change such a critical asset so much? The lantern represents one of the only things that Sunny has left of her dad that survived the destruction of the lighthouse, or Bright House as it's called. And now the lantern has completely lost its identity. And much like Bright House Internet and this special, it's a slow and underwhelming experience for the audience. Finally, we enter the third act, and oh yeah, there was a festival. Remember that thing? I apologize. It was just so poorly defined about what exactly it was, I forgot about it.
Way to go, Homer!
You're #1, Homer!
But this was a contest for children!
Yeah, and Homer beat their brains out.
Bitch. Moving on, the storm of the century hits Maritime Bay. And here's something I've been holding off since the beginning. And I think it's a rather pertinent question. Why are the crystals doing all this? Why is all magic halted? The power is literally punishing every pony for not meeting to the exact ideals of unity and friendship. So what, every pony must always adhere to the philosophies of the crystal or face certain doom? That's what happens, as literally the crystals are willing to drag the entire city into oblivion, all because some ponies were jerks and punishes every pony for it. What type of fascist ideals were programmed into these crystals and why? Anyway, the town comes together, Sunny saves Posey, and the crystals return magic to every pony, and even give the Earth ponies magic. Wow, what a petty crystal. How come it never gave them powers before? Was it just sticking them around? These crystals are just straight up jerks. Also, the egg hatches with this generation spike. Posey makes her apology, and Zipp's mother, after being so insistent on having her daughter rule in her place, is now suddenly okay with letting her go for no good reason. Also, we have our cliffhanger with our new villain, and woof, that design. I don't know if it's because of the lighting or the actual colors, but she just looks terrible. I shudder to think how much time the creators actually spent on making her. By the way, where's she getting this footage? How's she spying on the town? Does she just have minions running around watching every pony?
The road is out, and we are working on it. No pedestrian traffic allowed. It is very hot here, not a through street. My red sign helps me work on the road. No ped-exing. Slow to 15 miles per hour.
Anyway, that was chapter 1 of Make Your Mark, and it's an absolute mess. There are just far too many storylines being crammed into one single special. I get that they want to set up the series, but if you're not going to give all these different plot lines adequate room to be executed, then what's the point? Like I said, if you want to read a better continuation of the movie, read the first issue of the MLP G5 comic. It is light years better than this special. Oh, and here's another minor question. Where's Sprout? You know, the main antagonist from the movie? Are we just never going to acknowledge him again? How do you get away with that? I know it's pessimistic, but I'm kind of weary about what's to come in the future of this generation, if this is the kind of writing we're gonna get. But hopefully they'll bounce back once the actual series starts, and I'll be there to cover it. Well, that's it for today, guys. Until next time, MC out!